of being in films. I've made some 35 films, and I've never objected to being cut out of a picture. I've never objected to having my scenes sliced or put together in a crazy way. To my mind, badly cut, and they changed the picture. I've made all the money I need to make. I've made a couple of Academy Awards if I was cared about that. I'm going to have a position of respect and standing in my craft as an actor in this country. And so what is it going to... I don't need to gild a lily. I don't give a damn about that. I've made some real dogs. And I did it just for the money. And, but this I don't care about. I don't care about that. Cheyenne is doing her best. Excuse me. Sorry.
Tragedy defined the final years of Marlon Brando's life. In 1995, his daughter Cheyenne took her own life, an unbearable loss that shattered him. The man who once commanded the screen with effortless confidence was left broken, drowning in sorrow. But the pain didn't begin there. Brando's life was a war between brilliance and self-destruction. He was a master of his craft, but a prisoner of his own mind. He sought love, but built walls around himself. He changed Hollywood, but in the end, he wanted nothing to do with it.
I'd never grow up. I thought that life would go on forever. And then I worried somewhere in the middle years that life is going away and I haven't done this, I haven't been here, I haven't done that, I have been denied that experience, or I've denied myself that experience. And so I tried to go everywhere at once and do everything at once. And now time is much slower for me. It's very slow.
Born in Omaha, Nebraska, in 1924, Marlon Brando's early years were shaped by chaos and contradiction. His father was strict and dismissive. His mother, an actress herself, was artistic, nurturing, but plagued by alcoholism. From a young age, Brando was torn between rebellion and sensitivity, a duality that would define his performances. He found strange comfort in rhythm, often listening to the chugging pulse of a donkey engine outside his home. That mechanical beat, steady and hypnotic, stirred something deep inside him. It wasn't just noise. It was life, emotion, timing. A performer's instinct, awakened by machinery.
Years ago when I was living on the farm, I used to love to listen to the donkey engine. There used to be a donkey engine for the water pump. And I used to love to listen to that thing pulsate, and it just had something to say to me and had an appeal for me. I mean, some people are drawn to a tone and others to color and form. But I also, I used to love to ride on trains. When I'd ride on trains, I used to love to stand in the vestibule of the car and listen to the rails.
Expelled from military school and drifting without direction, he found refuge in acting. It wasn't discipline that saved him. It was emotion. New York became his proving ground, and under the guidance of Stella Adler at the Actors Studio, Brando didn't just act. He felt, lived, and breathed every character. He was about to reshape the very definition of performance.
You must be Stanley. I'm Blanche.
Oh, you're still sister.
Yes.
Oh, hi. Hey, you mind if I make myself comfortable? My shirt is sticking.
Please, please do.
Well, you know, you gotta be careful. You're sitting around a damn thing, get you cold. Well, you're the teacher, aren't you?
Yes.
What do you teach?
English?
Oh, I never was a very good English student. How long are you here for?
Well, I don't know yet. Traveling wears me out.
Well, take it easy.
Why did I wind up being an actor rather than a scientist who was, studying entomology or be an animal trainer? Why did I make that choice? It wasn't financial, because if it was financial, I could have made a lot of money. Maybe $200 million, I'd saved it. But I had no interest in that.
Hollywood didn't just take notice, it was mesmerized. Brando wasn't performing for the camera. He was exposing something raw, something real. The Men, 1950, showed his dedication. He spent weeks in a veterans hospital to prepare for the role. Then came A Streetcar Named Desire, 1951. Viva Zapata, 1952. Julius Caesar, 1953. And On the Waterfront, 1954.
He wanted my philosophy of life. Do it to him before he does it to you.
Each film, a showcase of emotional depth, physicality, and defiance. He wasn't interested in fame, and he never chased money. Off camera, he could be charming, reclusive, rebellious, or brutally honest, sometimes all at once. Brando didn't play by Hollywood's rules. He rewrote them.
Listen, everybody in this life is an actor. Nobody goes around. Wake up in the morning and you say, "Hi, how are you?" "You son of a bitch." And people don't say what they want. How many men and women find other men and women attractive and pretend to be casual and just buff their nails, and you're sort of bored with the whole thing, but are really impassioned by that? How many times have you seen a woman wearing a really ugly dress and say, "Oh, I'm so glad you could come, Meg. Sit down, please. God, you've got an ugly dress on. Where did you get that dress? It's really repulsive." How many times have you done that? Never. You've just said, "Hi, Meg, how are you? Come and sit down. Wonderful to see you." That's acting.
You're as anxious as I am to find out what actor has won the Oscar for the best performance of this year. The winner is Marlon Brando for On the Waterfront.
And yet, for someone who believed we're all just acting through life, Brando's craft stood far above the rest. In 1955, he won his first Academy Award for On the Waterfront, delivering a performance that still echoes through film history. Raw, vulnerable, unforgettable. Critics hailed him as a genius. Directors called him a game changer. To many, he wasn't just an actor, he was the actor. A force of nature who redefined what it meant to be real on screen. But for Brando, the applause meant little. In his eyes, art wasn't a competition, and the obsession with ranking greatness only cheapened its truth.
You shouldn't ever believe what you hear, and you shouldn't ever believe what you read. What's the difference? See, that's a part of the sickness in America, that you have to think in terms of who wins, who loses, who's good, who's bad, who's best, who's worst. We always think in those terms, in the extreme terms. I don't like to think that way. Everybody has their own value in a different way, and I don't like to think who was the best at this or that. I mean, what's the point of it?
But even as the world called him the greatest, Brando distanced himself from the spotlight. "Who's the best?" he once said. "What does that even mean?" To him, acting wasn't about winning. It was about truth, about connection, about stripping everything down to what's real. And then, The Godfather.
If he had come to me in friendship, then the scum that ruined your daughter would be suffering this very day. And if by chance an honest man like yourself should make enemies, then he would become my enemies. And then they would fear you.
Be my friend, Godfather.
In 1972, Brando stepped into the role of Vito Corleone, a quiet storm of power, grief, and restraint. Studios fought hard against casting him. They called him difficult, washed up, unpredictable. But Coppola believed in him, And Brando delivered a performance so haunting, so controlled, it changed cinema forever. He won his second Oscar for the role, but in classic Brando fashion, he didn't even show up. Instead, he sent Sachin Littlefeather to decline the award, making a bold statement against Hollywood's treatment of Indigenous people. That night, Brando didn't just make history, he made a point.
I have tried to get on a movie about the American Indians and the manner in which we committed as a country genocide upon those people. And I have been told to go take a flying, at a rolling donut. For 10 years I've tried to do it. I've written so many scripts. I have gone with so many networks and to so many movie studios with this tale. They don't want to hear about it. Hear that America followed a policy of genocide. General Grant, one of our great heroes in America, called for the destruction, the annihilation of these people.
That refusal wasn't just about one film, it was about the system. Brando didn't just speak out. He tried to create change. He wanted to make a movie about the genocide of Indigenous peoples in America, raw, truthful, and unapologetic. But every studio turned him down. Too controversial, too uncomfortable, too honest. Hollywood loved his talent but feared his voice. To Brando, acting was never the end goal. It was a platform. And when that platform stopped listening, he stepped away.
I didn't make any great movies. There's no such thing as a great movie. You know what's great? A Rembrandt painting, a Mozart chamber music. Those are great. I don't find acting satisfying. I'm much more interested in writing. And I've sort of lived a contemplative life trying to figure out what it is that I would like to do. I never really knew. But I have more satisfaction at writing and doing other things. I'm interested in everything. I don't think there's anything I'm not interested in. I've spent hours and hours watching ants go up and down in my sink, picking up the crumbs and finding out where they come from. They come in the cold weather.
He loved deeply, but often kept people at a distance. Fame had made him untouchable, but it hadn't made him whole. When Apocalypse Now came calling, Brando was no longer the young rebel. He was a mystery. He arrived overweight, unprepared, and emotionally distant. Francis Ford Coppola called the shoot a nightmare. But even through the chaos, Brando brought Colonel Kurtz to life with a presence that was terrifying, poetic, and unforgettable.
If the generals back in the Trang could see what I saw, would they still want me to kill him? More than ever, probably. And what would his people back home want if they ever learned just how far from them he'd really gone?
It's impossible through words to describe what is necessary. If I had 10 divisions of those men, then our troubles here would be over very quickly. You have to have men who are moral and at the same time who are able to utilize their primordial instincts to kill without feeling, without passion.
Life is a mystery, and it's an unsolvable one. And you just simply live it through. And as you draw your last breath, you say, what was that all about? Who knows?
In one of his last recorded moments, Brando spoke softly, not as a legend, but as a man still searching. He wondered aloud about life, about what it all meant. What are we doing here? He asked. What's it all for? His voice, once so commanding, now carried the weight of years, of love and loss, of questions with no answers. He never claimed to have it figured out. But through every role, every rebellion, every silence, he made us feel something real. Marlon Brando wasn't just an actor. He was a mirror, a storm, a soul who reminded us that greatness isn't about perfection. It's about truth. So if you're watching this now, remember, keep dreaming and keep believing. Not in fame, not in awards, but in the power of being real.